Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game that we're making. When we last left off, we have arrived back at Buttertown to find out that it is no longer the lush green paradise that it was before, but instead melted. Yeah, I'm gonna make that joke as often as I can because I kinda like it. So we need to find out what's going on here, but first we need to actually find out that Buttertown has been melted. So let's see here. First things first, we're going to have an intro event that once we have the blimp is going to trigger. Instead of placing us up here at the entrance to the grassy, nice version of the town, we're instead going to have it bring us, let's see here, move party to point. It's going to bring us to the entrance of the unfortunate version of the town. And we need sort of a cutscene. I guess I'll place the cutscene inside the dragon over here. So what I need to do... Okay. So I'm gonna kind of have a little bit of fun here. I'm gonna be placing some... Yeah. Gonna be placing some sound effects here. I'm gonna have a piano sound. Change screen. Gonna shift it up one. And then the piano sound is gonna be there again with the screen going up some more, and then gonna be there, and then from here it's going to be shifting to the right. How many spaces? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Probably 12 is enough. Make it 14, just so the focus isn't on the dragon at the end of this. "14 to the right." And what I'm doing here is... Oop, not that. We need to change the pitch of the piano now. We'll go with that, possibly. I don't know whether this is actually going to work out. I'm trying to play sort of a little tune here as we enter town. Ah, I forgot a couple of important things. First off, we have to actually allow it to trigger. Also, I don't want music to play when we get back into town. So we'll stop the music, and we'll take over to the dragon event, so that the event will actually play out. As a reminder, the reason why I'm having it take over to the dragon for the moving of the screen is because in the intro event, we can't have the screen move. Well, I mean, we can, but all the stuff that happens in an intro event is triggered before the scene loads. And I want this stuff to happen after it loads, therefore we need it to happen in this script right here. So let's see how this works now. That sounded a little bit too puffy. Let's lower the pitch of the little song. Where do I want the last note, for example? Wait. Possibly there? Let's try that. And I want you guys to kind of tell me if you understand the effect I'm going for here with the 3 notes here. That's not quite how I want it either. I'm close though. Let's try... Let's try there. That'll probably do it. Nah, I'm gonna have to like tinker with it off camera because this is gonna take a whole lot of trial and error. And kind of think of it, I also just realized I need to do something with the doors. So let me do something with the doors real quick. So, doors are going to be there, but like I said before, they're kind of going to be burned down. So what I need to do is create an open version of each page, like... Actually, I could save a little bit of time here. Or memory. So where's the open version of the door again? There it is. And once again... This is like so if it's the blimp. And what I'm gonna do is actually have the same copy of the door in both cases. Maybe it would help if there was a pause. I don't know. Well, whatever. What I'm going to do instead is I'll figure it out off camera, like I said, trying to get the pitch right. I'm basically trying to get bum bum bum. Kinda hard to do whenever your only musical sound effect is a piano. Okay, so now I'm going to have the screen change to black. Instantaneously, everything goes to black. And this is going to be a significant occasion. We're going to... Well, let's take a look at how much memory we're using up at the moment. So right now we've got a lot of memory left. Let's be honest here. 114,966. That is a lot of memory we have left. We have not actually used up a whole lot of memory yet. And I'm pretty sure if we go into the scenario editor, yeah, we're still saving just 1 block. Eventually, with a little bit of memory, a lot more game, we'd wind up saving something that is more than 1 block, and in fact, a file could potentially be at the maximum of 15 blocks, 15 being the maximum that a PlayStation memory card could hold. Hypothetically speaking, we could run out of memory. It's not as likely to happen with system data, but for scenario data, especially if you've got a lot of dialogue in the game, you're going to run out. Thankfully, RPG Maker has a nifty option should such a thing happen, allowing you to extend your game beyond more than 1 file. And that option is next scenario. So basically, the name of the scenario of what we're doing right now is card 1. So basically we could go in here and choose next scenario, and the next card would be, of course, card 2. And so when the player reaches this point, they would be asked to load the memory card that has this information on it, card number 2. Just to give them a little bit of warning though, we'll put in a message letting them know that a change is about to happen. And in fact, we'll also give them the opportunity to save the game. So, end of card 1. You would you like to save? Let's see here. I'm gonna have this kind of centered as best as I can here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 6. So it would be kind of sitting there. We'll go ahead and put something in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There. So this will offer the player a chance to save. Two-way choice, yes and no. And here is where we'll give them the save point. Where is the save point? Right there. And we'll take over to the next page once that is over. The next page will have the change. So, take over to page 2 if yes. Take over to page 2 if no. With the only difference being, yes lets you save. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell the player to insert the next memory card. Memory card with card 2. Mary. Press. We'll go with X. And we'll try to get this centered as well. There. So the reason why I'm having this message here is because RPG Maker is old. And we're putting these games on memory cards. PlayStation 1 memory cards. We're talking about the PlayStation 5 coming out possibly next year. Or the year after. But we're dealing with PlayStation 1 here. There's a pretty good chance that anybody playing the RPG Maker game we make is emulating it. And Under normal circumstances, if you're playing on an actual PlayStation, well, as soon as you insert the next memory card, the PlayStation will recognize that you put in a new card and immediately load the data. But if you're using an emulator like Ep27, it will not recognize whenever you change cards once it's already waiting for a new card. So this message here is to allow whoever's using Ep27 to change the file before moving on, that way it'll actually load. Kind of unfortunate that it has to be done like that, but there you go. At least this circumvents that. Also, Atlantis says that it's generally better to offer the save after the scenario change, because if you actually use that save and then load from it later, you're going to have to go through the next scenario load again. Well, yeah, that's true. The reason why I'm having the opportunity to save before the scenario change is in case the player doesn't have another memory card available right now and they need to take the time to do that for whatever reason. They can load this back up and then get the card ready then. I'll also have the opportunity to save after the change, that way once they do make the change, they don't have to load the next card again. Wouldn't it be funny if this message to insert memory card made it so that the scenario data now takes 2 blocks? That would be funny. Nope, did not actually do the case. That's a bummer. Well, in that case, maybe I'll go ahead and fiddle with that little scene again. See how it looks with the added delays if I were to do that. I doubt that those 2 little commands is going to bump it up to more memory use, but I kind of want to try to get that memory bumped up. I will say we could throw in a little wait before that message pops up. Yeah, let's do that. Out of curiosity, if we double up on the sound effects, what does that sound like that? I actually kind of like that. Aside from the wrong pitch. No, we're just not getting that above 1 block. I kind of wonder how close I am. The game doesn't have a whole lot of dialogue, so it's probably a situation where I'd have to do a whole lot more in order to make that happen. Ah, well. So what else can I do here? Well, I suppose I could show you the disadvantage of this feature here when we're in test play specifically. I won't create a save yet. Instead, we'll say no. Here's this information. And in test play mode, to next scenario event won't be executed. If you want to execute next scenario card 2, play the game. In other words, it won't work unless we're not playing test play. This is kind of unfortunate because, according to this, the only way we'll be able to test play scenario 2, card 2, is if we play the game for real, which means we're not playing in test play, which means, by the way, there's no shortcut buttons to get out of real play. The shortcut to get out of the game is only in test play, so we'd have to reset the entire console in order to exit the game. That's the problem. So the work around here is I'm gonna basically create another file is what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to create a separate file here, identical to card 1. We'll go ahead and place it on a separate memory card for the time being. So there's card 1. And what I'm going to have to do... Game info. So normally for card number 2, I would actually call it card number 2. But I need to trick the game into thinking that we are still on the same card so that we can continue the test play. Because if I name this to card 2, try that again. If I rename this to card 2, what's going to happen is I try to resume the test play, which apparently works. Hold on a sec. It's been a while since I've actually used this function. Well, if I hit continue... You know, I thought that the test play wouldn't work if you changed the name of the scenario, but it seems that's not actually the case. Or is it? Hold on a sec. Memory card. Save scenario, now that I changed it. Okay, we're doing some live experimentation here. Oh, that's what I did wrong. Okay. So, I changed the wrong file. Whoops. So, this right here is the scenario name for the first card in the game. We're changing the card name for the next scenario, which is this. And now we're unable to resume our test play because the test play is on card 1. But of course, because of RPG Maker's you can't change scenario in test play, we have no way of resuming this. So what we have to do is have every memory card have the same name for the sake of test play. And only once we're done creating the game do we actually have this be the correct name. Which means for the time being it's going to be a little bit confusing because as we're making our game, we have more than one scenario file called card 1. And we're going to have to make sure not to save over the wrong one as we go along. That would be disastrous. But we are at least going to start working on card 2 here. What we're going to do, first off, did I change that back yet? Yeah. So, card 2 is going to start right here in Buttertown. Basically the same way we enter town. The introduction with the whole dun 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 thing is no longer going to come into play. This is where things get a little complicated because all this up here is no longer relevant. So we are going to basically save memory with this second card by removing the stuff that is no longer relevant. Which is going to be kind of tricksy here. So let's see here. First things first. Mr. Skeleton Guy. None of this is going to be up here anymore. So let's go ahead and move it all down here. He's no longer going to be living, so we're going to save some memory by getting rid of his living pages, because on card 2, he's no longer living. And it's kind of going to be the same situation with the cop. He's no longer going to be in the living portion of town, he's going to be in the dead portion where he's always dead. I'm kind of going to want to leave this stuff alone, though. Because there is still the chance where the player did not turn in the thief. So in actuality, what's going to have to happen here is I'm going to change all of his graphics so that even though he's still asking for a thief to trade in, he's going to be a skeleton while he's asking for a thief. Now, by the way, these characters, they're dead, but they're not dead. They're going to be talking skeletons is what we're going to do here. So we no longer need the dummy page where he's already a skeleton. And then the switch up there is no longer going to be up there, it's going to be right down here. At this point in the game, we'll never have the curse key again, so get rid of that page. And this is a page where we try flipping it while holding the curse key, which is not going to be a thing. And probably going to make it so that the switch no longer can budge. Likely because it's been melted so that it won't budge. We're still going to have two different phases of the switch, because if the player happened to have it flipped the last time we saw it, for the sake of consistency, it's still flipped. We just can't flip it back anymore. That is basically how that's going to work. This is still going to go into the shop, but there's no longer any door, so it's always like so. And since it's always like so, we're not going to have any changed graphics, it's just going to let you go inside. Same thing for the door on this side of town. We no longer have a situation on card number 2 where we have the key in the first place, so we can get rid of the first page there. And once again, it's always going to be open. No sound effect or graphic change because it's already open, melted open and that sort of thing. And there's also the situation with the treasure chest up there. Since this was a story treasure chest, it's already going to be open. In fact, it's not going to be a treasure event at all. It's just going to be a regular open event, which we can't interact with because it's already been interacted with before. There's nothing in it. And we'll go ahead and get rid of the treasure data there. Any others to get rid of? Oh yeah, we need to move this down here so that we can still get back inside the house. What else? The intro event? Well, since we already had the blimp cutscene, we don't need the blimp cutscene anymore. Switch 8 is still needed. We need to make sure that when we load up, we're brought to the correct position. And this is going to bring us to the world map, as usual. So here's how this is going to work. Actually, I'll have to demonstrate how this is going to work after we go on our next episode break. So, we will be right back. And when we come back, we'll be moving on to Scenario 2. Card 2, we'll say, even though we have to name it Card 1 for reasons I have already specified. Hopefully, all that things that I just explained has made some amount of sense. And if not, hopefully it'll make more sense when we return.